Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, there are some champs in the game that have pretty bad reviews, and YST is joining us to talk about some of the worst champions in Raid Shadow Legends. How's it going, man?
How's it going? Always a blast to come and hang out with you and your viewers and to
Yeah.
speak about some trash rated champions. Like when you gave me that idea, I was like, is there really some out there that's this bad? But 1.1?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My first thought when I looked at Chrome, I was like, oh, well, at least he got one. And then I realized, no, one is literally the lowest. It can't physically be worse than that. So 1.1 is shockingly bad. He is the worst rated champ in the game. What we're going to do, we're going to split this into two bits because there's so many different champs. We're just talking about legendaries and mythicals, not epics for this video or rares. We're going to talk about the Doom Tower champions. Of the 9 legendaries from Doom Tower, spoiler warning for YST's video, 8 of them have horrendous ratings. Only one of them is good ratings. You guys can guess which the good one is before you jump over to YST's channel. And we'll also talk about the 3 worst rated mythicals on his channel as well. For this video on my channel, we're going to talk about, I went through all of them, and you guys on stream for CVC stream helped me pick these out. The 10 worst rated void legendaries and the 10 worst rated regular legendaries, excluding Doom Tower stuff. Because Doom Tower stuff really quite dominates.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad. So yeah. I mean, YSC, do you want to give me off the top of your head, if you had to guess, this is a tough question, but if you had to guess, let's start with a void. Who would you think, just off the top of your head, is a top 10 potential worst void legendary? And then we'll start with that champ, and I'll confirm if you're right or wrong.
I think if I was to put it out there, someone that I was kind of really hyped to get a buff, and when they got the buff, it wasn't to the kind of standard which I thought they would. It's going to be Angar. I think he would.
Ooh, yes. Angar, he's close. I don't think he's really close. Oh no, yeah, he is.
Okay.
He does make it. Look at this.
Oh, does he make it? Cool.
He does make it. Yeah, I was wondering because this, you get into this rabbit hole. It's so funny looking at the worst champs where you start seeing these 2s and going, wow, that's pretty good. He got a 2. But no, yeah, it's all red, man. 2.2 for faction wars, 2 for arena offense, and then 1.4 to etc. and everywhere else. It's rough. As you said, he's already been buffed as well. Number 1, do you think Angar? You said you're disappointed. Do you think he is this bad? And
no, I don't.
Okay. Well, tell me a bit more. Is he actually any good? He's got.
The thing is, this with these kind of champion ratings, I understand. Like a lot of players might just do it because it's a void legendary. It's supposed to be that hard thing to get, and then when you finally get them, do they live up to the hype, right? And for me, it's like, yes, you do provoke in many ways in the Angar situation, but what else, right? He's not really doing some incredible damage. Like for me personally, I thought it'd be really cool for Angar to be an enemy max HP provoke champion, and I thought that was the buff that he deserved with that A2, and just that alone would have put him up there for me for something like Hydra. But I just think it's a lot of provokes, man. There's so many provokers in the game. Do you need it?
Yeah.
Maybe Faction Wars hard mode coming up, right? But yeah.
I think that's definitely a point I would bring up, is that with Faction Wars hard mode, that's where he's probably going to shine the most, right?
Yeah.
You got limited options for control, so he's definitely going to see a surge in value there with the AoE provoke, and then potentially reprovoking and placing some decreased attacks. Like, he could be super good for that. But I think this is a bit harsh on him. He's definitely not great.
Is that a 2-turn duration on enemies, or is it just bosses?
He has a 3-turn cooldown, AoE 1-turn provoke, but it has a 75% chance of doing a 2-turn provoke instead. It's actually pretty good for wave control. So yeah, I like your idea. I think you maybe hit the nail on the head. It would be kind of cool if he had maybe his A1 could be triggering some enemy max HP or something. That would give him a little bit of extra juice, a little bit extra something. He'd be very strong then because he has built-in counterattack. So that would
those
make
ratings are horrid. Like, if we just click on those again, sorry. But Faction Wars, I think at least a 4.5 to a 5, right? Hydra, at least a 4. He's locking down the K all the time. There's no issues about that. Just general wave content. I think overall, at least a solid 3.5 to 4 champion just for control, right?
Yeah. I agree. I agree. But today we're looking at the champs that the viewers have voted, or well, the game players have voted as bad. And of course, remember these
Yeah.
ratings were all refreshed, I think near the start of the year. So this is all 2025 opinions on champions from the players. Okay, let's jump in. A champion. Let's go to. This one has terrible reviews, and this is one you touched on a champ that you think is better than people think. I think this champion's better than people think. I will defend Fortus here today. Look at this. Oh, 1.4, 1.2. He's not got 1.1 anywhere. He's not fallen that far, but horrendous reviews for Fortus. Yeah, I mean, quick thoughts. Is he that bad? I don't think so, but I don't know. Do you think so?
Do you know, Fortus is a champion I've actually never played with personally,
Hmm.
but from first glance on a skill basis and what he's actually bringing to the tables, I don't see how he's that bad. Like the A2 has a way of growing in value, according to Truth, is that he can place himself with the A2, so it does synergize.
Yeah.
He does have a passive to greater the chance of placing those effects or for them to lose their skills or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty nice synergy. Like, what do you think the issue is that players are seeing with that A3?
I think players are way too harsh on this guy. I actually did a video on him fairly recently, so you guys can go watch it if you want. Specifically because I think I ran him with Fabian, right? But we've got a lot of new champions. So what he specifically does is the more fears you're placing, the stronger he gets. He gets the secret skill. It gets stronger. We'll come back to that in a second, but 40% chance to get it when a True Fear is placed. I put him in with Fabian, who's probably the best True Fear champ in the game, arguably. But you've also got like Queen of Hearts now. Mad Hatter as well as putting out True Fears. We've got a lot. We've got Empress, the Anomaly. He's in the same faction as Fortus. So is Queen of Hearts, in fact. Lots more True Fear champions in the game, which I think has really grown his value. I think he's pretty decent. He's certainly not top tier, but he's actually pretty darn good. He does have a few big problems, though. Problem number one. This line here, the damage of the skill increases by 10% whenever a fear or true fear debuff is placed on an enemy. Now, when Fortus first came out, I think we did a showcase on him back then.
Yeah.
That is how it worked. It used to have terrible starting damage, and then it ramped up like crazy with this. However, they reworked him, and it does not do this anymore. It just fundamentally doesn't do it. Instead, I think it just adds a 0.1 defense multiplier per fear onto the skill. So it's way less than a 10% damage increase. So this description is no longer accurate. And it probably should be. They probably should
it should be.
rework the skill to actually do what this says again. It was great that they upped the base damage, but now this doesn't actually scale up anywhere near as much as you think it does. But it hits hard. But yeah, I think crit rate in arena battles aura, dreadful. That should really be changed. And then he's got like this weird, he's got this weird stuff where he always crits with his A3 against targets under fear, true fear, but he has that on his A1, but he doesn't have it on his A2. So you pretty much have to build him with 100% crit rate. I mean, clearly they're intending for you to, maybe I'll use the aura a bit and build him low crit rate and gamble on the fears, but like nobody does that, right? This doesn't really fit the game. So I think that they should be either add always critting into his A2 as well, or remove that from his kit and switch it up a bit. But his passive is great, by the way. This is insane, right? Chance for skills to fail. I think Alaz, the mythical, in his second form has a better version of this, but this is still insane. Makes True Fears better. It's actually super good. So yeah, I think he's decent. Like I'd be saying he's like probably like, like a 4 out of 5 sort of nuker for arena or something. Like he's good, but he needs sort of specific setup. He's tanky, hits hard. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that because actually, remember we pulled him recently when we did that collab last time at the end.
Oh, did you?
I pulled him, but I've not built him yet.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see how he can perform. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he might come into it if you have the fear enablers like Hatter and Queen of Hearts or Empress in the faction. I mean, he definitely could come in. He also needs increased defense, which gets a little awkward. Though there are some. You've got Wurlim, I think, does it. Mother Cybele, Versilf, a few options. Get max damage. Yeah. Anyway, right. Champion next. Do you want to make another guess? Then it's going to get really hard. I think
another guess of a trash void champion. You're saying, right?
You know what? Actually, let's go with the voids. Yeah. You keep guessing the voids. Let's split it. Let's split it into 4 videos. Screw it. Just keep guessing the voids until you get one wrong. Let's see how far you can get.
Gosh, void champion.
Yeah, I can. Do you want me? I can flick through the index for you if you want, so you can Take a
I
gander.
somewhat, in my mind, I think maybe Carolon the Ringer might be in there. I've seen a lot of people hating on that dude,
Ooh.
but
Okay, let's see. Let's take a quick gander. Carolon the Ringer. Oh, he's not. He's bad, but oh, look at that.
not in the top 10.
That's yellow. That's good. That's top tier.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's
it's not top tier, but he's not. He doesn't quite make it in. Do you want one more try, or will I just drop one on you?
Drop one on me. Drop it.
Okay.
I don't think I can think right now.
That's totally fair. Now, if I ask you what this guy does, you might struggle. Diamant.
I actually do know because
Okay.
because I have to write the guides on the website, so these dudes are in my mind.
Yeah, you probably know the champs better than most. Yeah. Diamant Coppercoin. There we go. He is dreadful in terms of user reviews. 200 reviews. He's got a 2 for Faction Wars, and then he's sub 2 rating everywhere else. People are hating on this guy. For people, I didn't remember what he did. 20% speed aura. He can convert debuffs into buffs when they try to place them on him. Decrease attack, defense, speed, crit rate, and crit damage. His A3 is 3 intercept. 3 intercept stacks on a 3-turn cooldown on a target ally, and increase resist strengthen on everybody. It's an AoE, increases ally buffs, and fills his turn meter. And then he's got an AoE A1 that heals people a bit. So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's a pretty shocking kit. But I don't know, what do you think about it? I mean, 3 intercept stacks, that's a lot of intercept, to be fair.
I think as a, how can I put this? As a legendary champion, as a base average, as a void legendary, I don't think he deserves to be there, personally. I think the things that will take him to the next level is making that passive for all allies. If that was like a converting debuffs from everybody, that's like a pretty wild skill, you know. But that might be something a mythical could do. But
yeah.
In the grand scheme of it, like intercept for 3 stacks on an ally is pretty good. You know, increase resistance and strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown.
Yeah.
You know, stop the debuffs coming your way in Hydra, a bit of strengthen. I can see the play for it. And what was his ratings again? Were they that bad?
Oh, they're bad.
Oh yes,
they're really bad.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a really tough one. I think for a void legendary, he is very, very crappy though.
Yeah. Like I do like the combination. A few champs have it of you place increase resist and then you extend the buff. I think that's really nice because it's really dangerous otherwise if you've got gaps in your increase resist uptime. But it sort of feels like, what's he getting the turn meter to do? You know, like
it's the same thing with the passive. He's very selfish with some of the effects, and then the other one is like team orientated. It's like, what are you really doing here, buddy? Are you just looking cool, or are you doing something for the team, right?
I think that's a great idea you had if this passive applied to everyone. Yeah, that would be fun. And you know what, actually fun behind the scenes fact for you guys. We obviously we get to chat to the raid devs every now and then at events and things like that. Me and YST, we got to talk to the lore guys a bit. And I remember asking them, like, were there any champions you thought like you had so much fun writing their character and then they turned out bad? And I remember they picked Diamant Coppercoin as a great example where they're like, it's so much fun writing his skills and writing the lore and he looked awesome. And then he came out and everyone said he sucked in game and they were so disappointed. Yeah. Sad.
It's a shame. He does look badass. Like one of my favorite looking Ogrins for sure.
Yeah, he does look cool. Okay, let's go to an OG champion, Blind Seer. She has real bad reviews as well. Again, a couple reasonably high for the two. We got 2.3 and a 2.4, which is nice. But then we're dropping to sub 2 for everywhere else. One of the oldest champs in the game. She actually, sorry, why Steve disappeared for a second here. You've got 115. He's back. He's got what? How fast you're moving in and out. That's 115 base speed dodging from YST.
It's like Genzin out here. That's crazy stuff.
Insane, yeah. So she's got crazy base speed, but she's got terrible reviews. YST, what do you think about Miss Blind Seer? Block debuff.
I don't think she's that bad.
Okay, wow.
I don't. Like, on paper, right, if we just look at it as a core kit, we've got an AoE revival with a block damage buff on them for protection, right? I think that's pretty damn good for progression anyway. I'm not thinking, like, super top endgame.
Yeah.
A2, block debuffs on everybody on a 2-turn duration and a shield that you can scale based on this champion's max HP by 30%. She's got incredibly fast base speed, and she's got 10-meter manipulation for stuff like Fire Knight. If I was to start a free-to-play, and I pulled this champ, Instamax.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're
I
liking it.
would. I don't think
Okay.
she's like super crazy out of this world in comparison to, the power surge that's in the game nowadays.
Yeah.
But as just but she's void. Shit.
Yeah, she's void legendary. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I forgot. I get mixed up. Who's the other one? Is it Lanicus?
Yeah,
It's Lanicus.
Lanicus. Yeah,
I
looks the
get confused
same.
with the art, so my bad. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
This
they're the
might change it a
same.
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wouldn't change my stance, and I'd still build her if I pulled her.
Right.
From a free to play.
Yeah. No, I totally agree as well. Like, if you are a new player, having an AoE revive, an AoE shield block debuffs, and then a turn meter pushback A1 is actually super useful. And she would come in useful for Fire Knight. I think, what would we
No,
like to
I've
see
changed
change?
my stance. I think that A1 needs to be increased.
The
I
chance?
think
Yeah,
if you've
yeah,
got
yeah.
epics like Allure in the game, which I would say this is similar to, just
Yes.
a crappier value,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably make that, more consistent, 100%. Maybe
Yeah.
give it a condition like make it be critical or something like an Allure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that A2, man. The A2 is nice.
A2 is pretty decent. Yeah.
Maybe a strengthen in there could be as good. Maybe block, debuff, strengthen, and shield. Being a void champion, I'd be fine with that. And maybe a 10-meter fill in that passive or that revival.
Yeah.
Because
So
she's just bringing them back base, right?
yeah, yeah. What I would actually like to see, I think, again, as you said, up the chance on the A1, higher chance to trigger makes sense. I would like to see a turn meter boost. I think because she's got such high base speed, having a turn meter increase on this move would be really nice. And I mean, even like a 20% is pretty good. You could even go like 25, 30%. Like you could give her a big turn, so make her a turn meter booster with block debuffs and a big shield. It's pretty nice. And yeah, the revive probably should be a bit shorter cooldown, or it should be bringing them back with, as you said, a bit of turn meter, a bit more health or something. Yeah, and maybe just a passive to do something interesting could be cool. She's such an old champ, no passive, right? Whereas modern champs do, but yeah, cool.
I can't see where she's rated that low though. I think that's
it is a bit harsh. I mean, she's definitely bad for Void Legendary, but in terms of
a champion,
she's really bad for Void Legendary. But as a champion, she is useful, and as you said, on a new account, definitely she'd be great. So definitely watch out for that. I would not use her on my account. Obviously, she's terrible for me, but for a new player, 100%.
Yes, same, yeah.
Next up, he was just buffed, but he's got terrible reviews. Now, some of these reviews, to be fair, might be from back before he was buffed. But Wurlim, look at this. Yikes. The reviews are stark. Wurlim is looking bad. So he did get buffed recently. He now has strength and increased defense on the 3-turn with a 60% chance to freeze enemies that cannot be resisted. I'm actually fine with this. It's on a 3-turn. I think that could be kind of a cool thing, by the way, to do at Fortus. Is say, look, his true fear is irresistible, but it's only like a 50-50. That could be fine, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Then he's got AoE, decrease attack, decrease accuracy that cannot be resisted, increase crit damage for your team, which is a crap buff, but there you go. And then he's got A1 freeze, and it puts perfect fail on the lowest HP ally. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about it. My thoughts is he's not an insane champ, but he's pretty decent, right? Lots of protection for your team, increased defense strength, and AoE decrease attack accuracy, bit of freezing, some perfect fails, bit of increased crit damage. I'm like, this is a solid, like, middle of the road B tier champion. Again, you'd be disappointed if you got him as a Void Legendary, but not every champ in the game can be OP. I sort of feel like he's, B plus. Faction Wars, he's going to be good. He's got 1.7 there. He's going to be really better than that. But for Faction Wars hard, I'd say, but not too great. But all right, I don't know. How do you feel about him? Like, did they not buff him enough? How do we feel?
Well, he's definitely better than what I remember him to be doing. Like, I think the thing with Wurlim, right? For anyone that's not aware, anyway, he was actually a part of the first and only battle pass we ever had in the game, right?
Yes.
And there's always that feeling of, he was free back in the day, or he's part of a battle pass, and then now I need to pull him from a shard. And then it's just like, this is what you get, sort of thing. I think if you look at it from what he's bringing to the table, it all makes sense for a champion, in my opinion. Like you mentioned, is middle of the road. Chance to freeze, some very strong protective buffs on a 3-turn cooldown to help the team everywhere in the game. You're reducing damage from decreased attack. I think decreased accuracy is one of my favorite debuffs in the game, alongside increased resistance for Hydra. Yeah. I'm a big fan of that debuff. Increased crit damage, I think, is a bit, it's whatever. It's a bit of a bonus. Maybe something else could be better. I don't know.
I think specifically how that works with decreased crit damage, I think it multiplies. So let's say your enemy has 300,000 and you've got the 30% penalty. It doesn't put it to 270%. I think it puts it to whatever 210% or whatever. I don't know. Someone could do the maths. I'm not doing the maths live properly, but you get the gist. It multiplies it, whereas I think it's additive with increase. So I believe if I come in and I've like Trunda with 300% crit damage, instead of 30%, instead of coming in like 390, it is just plus 30. It puts her from 300 to 330. So it's quite weak.
Yeah.
It's kind of good for low crit damage champions. Like, it's cool on Lazarius or something who might be lacking. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
You inspired me there by reminding me that he was a Battle Pass champion. I know this might be crazy, but I feel like Wurlim makes sense to take him out of the regular Void Shard pool and put him in as some sort of mission champion, or some sort of thing like that. Some sort of champion that players can just unlock relatively early in the game.
What
like,
it could do is
permanent fusion or something.
I think it'll be a very good thing to replace after Yannicka in the clan shop.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. I like that.
I think he's the perfect champion for that, actually.
Yeah, because she comes in. That'd be great. She's much better than Yannicka as well. Yannicka just switches to like a 4-star glyph. Yeah.
Yeah, we get Yakal, maybe even after Yakal, right? Like a Void Legendary replacement, either of the two, or just an additive. Maybe just throw him in there as one of the champs, right?
Yeah, I'm there for it. But yeah, I think he'd be brilliant as a free champion to get early in the game, and that would make him better. Okay, cool. I like it. All right, next up, YST. This one, this one might hurt you.
Don't come with this Genshin stuff. Anyhow.
Jensen's not Void, so you're not yet.
Oh, yes, I'm using the plot. This is how you know I've not recorded it in a month, guys. Sorry, man.
You're having your Void Genshin fantasies of taking over.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Supreme Genshin. Yeah, that sounded good to me, man.
Is he not in the game yet?
Khoronar, get out of here. Is he worst rated? Fuck's sake.
Khoronar. So he's got a couple of 2s. 2.5 Faction Wars, 2.3 Hydra, 2.1 Campaign. But then sub 2 everywhere else. People hating on Khoronar. I know you like him. Are they crazy or are they right? Let's have a look.
I don't think they're crazy. Okay, go on. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to sum up his kit. He's got the AoE decrease attack, puts decreased defense if they're under decreased attack. It's on a 4-turn. That's a bit rough. He's the 3-turn when booked AoE provoke with block debuffs, increased defense on himself, cleanses him if Manaya's there. A1 is an AoE. 50% chance to 5% turn meter decrease. If Manaya is there, double hitter, and 100% chance to push turn meter back per hit. Then he's got his counter attacks when hit by enemies under decreased attack, decreased defense, decreased speed, always if Manaya is there, and increased defense on all allies for 2 turns if he kills an enemy. That's his kit. What do we think? There's a lot, and he's got 2 passives, 2 more than Blind Seer. He must be 3 times as good, right?
Yeah. Man, Khoronar. Do you know what is, for me, he was actually the first champion to help me beat all the Doom Tower rotations when there was like no Seer on my account. So I've got a bit of a sweet spot compared to others.
Yeah.
I think I actually still use him in one of my Hydra teams to this day.
Oh, really? It's your provoke?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he's my provoker. And why I say this is he has 2 forms of AoE attacks, which opens the opportunity for curse sets, right? So now you've got a decreased attack champion, a decreased defense champion, a hex champion, and a provoker. Yeah. And, for a low, like, you don't have to build him for damage. You don't have to build him for any kind of crazy stuff apart from accuracy and speed. So relatively easy builds, harder to kill, being a HP-based champion. I think he's a nice, simple, but effective champ for Hydra, personally, but also carries into Curse City, Doom Tower Waves, Secret Rooms, Faction Wars as your control champ and damage reducer from incoming damage. I don't think he's the best in the game, but I also do not think he's a trash champion. No.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. My thoughts looking at him, I think you could easily lower this to a 3-turn.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So you could more reasonably get around to the decreased defense. You could even just apply both. Decreased defense, decreased attack. Yeah,
I think, do you know what? In a situation like Hydra, right?
Yeah.
Decreased defense or decreased attack, it's a debuff that you could bring with so many champions, right? So the way that I use him is, well, even alongside like someone like who was I thinking of? Just any decreased attack in general, I guess. Like, if you place that on the enemies, it means you're always going to place the decreased defense with Khoronar.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But otherwise, I agree. You have to cycle it. Multiple times.
I think it'd be a simple. That'd be my change. Would be 3-turn cooldown and just do both, and that's good enough. You could make this an attack, but it's probably all right the way it is. Just buffs up and then could potentially boost the turn meter pushback up to 10%.
Oh, and one other thing.
Yeah.
A2 makes him a very good mischief tank.
Yeah.
Very good. Because he's placing block debuffs and increased defense.
He's got 50
so that block
base
debuffs
resist.
always overrides, so yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. You know, you could have him. Yeah. They could do some fun stuff. I think he's actually pretty good with Manaya, that he always counterattacks and his A1 sort of becomes a double hit. It's not too bad. So I think that's fine. I think they could make the combo of them a bit spicier, probably more so on her end. But yeah, you know, you could maybe juice up this passive spectacle, increased defense when you kill an element. It's not really a spectacle, is it? It's a bit shit. They could definitely make that spicier. Like,
I'm just
heal
thinking,
everyone,
what else?
give him a big shield or something cool. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, and maybe even just, you know, that A2 potentially increase defense on all allies, and then now you compare them with your defensive damage dealers. You know,
yeah, that'd be great.
That would be a massive, because then you're getting decreased attack, decreased defense, increased defense, provoke, curse set him up.
Good. Yeah,
yeah, it would be pretty good.
All right, cool. I like it. All right, saving Khoronar. Again, I think the Manaya side would need some love too, but that's nice. All right, next up, we've got three. We've only got four champs left here. We've got 3 relatively new ones, and then one very, very old one. We'll leave that one until last. New champ number 1 is Vitrius the Anointed, who apparently looks like the Emperor from Warhammer 40k, apparently. So there you go. But yeah, so he's coming in. Not as bad as some of the others. We've got 5 ratings above 2. Arena offense being his best. Faction War is okay, but he's pretty terrible ratings. That's Vitrius. He's got the kind of interesting passive where he resets the cooldown on one of his skills at random when an enemy increases his skills at all, and gives him an extra turn, which is kind of cool. Also gives him an extra turn if stuff decreases the cooldowns of his skills. It's actually a really good passive. I have actually seen this guy a few times. I've had him picked against me a few times in live arena. When you pick a lockout, people sometimes pick a Vitrius against it.
A nice little counter, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, if he's got a big blessing, he can actually be kind of good, I think, right? Even just give him no speed and just like run him like sort of a hegemon type thing. It can be okay, I think. It's not super dreadful. I guess one of the issues is that because it resets his skill at random, you might reset his big AoE, or you might reset his single target nuke, and that's not super helpful. But yeah, I don't know how you feel about him. Or if you've seen
I have
him.
no feelings about Vitrius. Doesn't cross my mind ever in Raid. I'm not gonna lie. Do you know, I could sit there and fluff it over like I know a lot about Vitrius. I don't know a damn thing about how hard he hits, how good he is. I've never seen him in play. Maybe like when he was released, we did like a test server showcase or something. I can't remember, but
I don't remember.
On paper, you know, he looks interesting. Nice little counter, grants himself extra turn with the passes if you lock him out. Come through, smack someone up again. It's interesting, but
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
Potentially, you could reset both of his skills. That would make him very scary. So he just, you know, you lock him out, and bam, he comes in with just ready to go. Can't be locked out.
Do you know what I would probably do as well?
Yeah.
Maybe if you reset the A3, potentially, or if you just use the A3 and you kill an enemy, grants an extra turn.
That could be cool. Yeah.
And it'll be more cycling, right? Because then, you know, you're just banking. If you get the A3 and maybe you wanted the A2, now you can go A3 into A2 and wipe out multiples. I think that'd be cool. But maybe even just ignore Stone Skin, or because he ignores shield unkillable and block damage, right? With that A3.
He ignores a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just cherry picking. I don't know too much about this dude, man.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's as bad as all that. I think he does have a niche use, but he's quite limited because it is so niche. But I mean, we've seen Hegemon was really quite irrelevant, honestly, for a long time because of Stone Skin. Now he's really come back in, seeing as Stone Skin is B teams are more common now. Hegemon's become better. This guy's pretty good against lockout. Yeah, I think maybe minor buffs, but I think people are a little bit harsh on him. Maybe it's just the inconsistency. Yeah, I think extra turn here could help a ton. He's also a champ that might get really a lot better with like Stone Cleaver and with what's the blessing as well. I can't, whatever it's called. Again, the same as Hegemon, right? He's actually really good in the anti-Stone Skin stuff. What's it called? I've got it on Hegemon. Cracking Roots. There we go. Cracking Roots.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, Cracking Roots, Stone Cleaver could make Vitrius a lot stronger. So I wouldn't be rushing out to majorly buff him. I think people are a little harsh. Okay, next up, in the same faction, Supreme
Oh,
Athel, the Supreme starter. She has been buffed before, but she's coming in. She's got 2.3 in Arena, but again, it's all red, mostly sub 2. She's got a 2 in Minotaur. Wow, that's generous.
oh wow.
Any thoughts about
How's that even possible?
any thoughts about Supreme Athel?
Um,
Self
I
buffs,
think
extra
I don't
turn,
think she's that bad, man.
AoE
Like
nuke.
as once again, I'm always a fan with like even if they're not the best champion in the game, if the kit actually makes sense, right?
Yeah,
I guess the one downside is as a nuke, a freeze kind of punishes the full potential of a damaged nuke, right? Because if they're under the condition, also
yeah.
triggering polymorph.
You get
Then you
some
also need
bonus
to
effect.
factor in what I would have done with Supreme A4 is made the freeze unresistible and unblockable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that means you can now invest heavily into the damage and not having to cater to the best of both worlds, right? And just always ensuring the freeze goes out.
Yes,
Um,
I
Ignore
agree.
strength and ally protection unkillable. I'm cool with that. Ignores 20% defense. I'm fine with that. She self buffs with literally everything under the sun. Value of the shield is proportional. Yes, self protection, self buffs, crowd control, damage. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's pretty all right, man. What's the
Yeah,
ratings looking like?
the ratings are dreadful. Really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money. I think you take out this increased accuracy buff, probably, and I think you
Yeah.
do make the freezes irresistible. They can
Yeah.
be blocked and cleansed, but I think you make them irresistible. And then
I'd make them unblockable as well.
you could. Well, no, I think
I
that'd be
would
too strong.
for a void champion who has like a one trick pony nuke. I don't think that's too much.
I do. I think it's
All right, let's do rock paper scissors. Who gets it? You
all
ready?
right. All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Mm.
Rock paper scissors shoot.
Yeah. Oh, I
What
had
did you
a
get?
hand.
Oh yeah, I
paper.
cut you. There we go. It's unblockable
Wow.
now.
Wow. Big Papa Drock won't be happy. He's got a bone to pick with unblockable skills.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry, Druck. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I think irresistible and potentially unblockable, and you can make that increase crit damage or whatever.
Yeah, just fully make her offensive, make the
Mm.
debuff unresistible, like you mentioned, and the passive is pretty cool as well, like placing freeze on when she's hit under a shield, and she's growing the shield according to her attack. It's almost there, in my opinion. It's just a few little tweaks, right?
Few tweaks. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Another relatively new champion back in the ogres. It's Togron the Conjoined. You know what this guy does?
I know what both of them do. There's two faces.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I didn't remember what he did. So for the viewers, again, we got another ogre with terrible ratings with a 20% speed and all paddles aura. Which, if I had a nickel for every poorly rated void legendary ogre with a 20% speed aura, I'd have 2, which is a lot, really. But he comes in. Now, this is actually really interesting. He gets more max HP when he uses an active skill, up to 50%, and he increases allies half the speed, 5%, but again, up to 50%. The only champion currently in the game that can increase other people's max HP. There's very few that increase max HP at all, like Frolny boosts his own. Maybe there's a few other champs, but I think he's the only one that boosts his allies' max HP. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's got turn meter boost 20% with increased accuracy and a cleanse. He's got 110 base speed, so he is pretty fast, not crazy fast. He's got a heal for his HP, puts increased speed, and a continuous heal for people who are low on life. That seems really awkward. And then he's got an A1 buff spread. I believe he was OP for a brief moment in time where he would spread shield buffs. I think it was shield buffs he would spread and keep them stacking. And made like Yannicka really OP.
It was that Yannicka team, and it was some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, so he was OP for a brief moment of time. Apart from that, that's probably where he got a few Hydra points, actually. And apart from that, he's regarded as pretty dreadful. I don't know. What do you think about him? I don't think he seems all that bad, actually. But what do you think?
It's a champion. I'm always interested. Like, there's no increased HP champions, and this is an increased HP champion. I guess the issue is there's not a bunch of HP nukers that's valuable in the game, right?
Yeah,
we got
true. They're
apart from like the meta ones, we're talking the big boys,
mm-hmm.
and it's an overtime thing, right?
Yeah,
that's the issue. It's like you have to scale it, and then now that's prolonged fights, and then now you're narrowing that pool of champions even less. You know, I guess it's the incremental growth that's the main issue, making them shine in like chimeras, hydras, and stuff. Increased accuracy, quite a common buff. 10-meter fills, you can get that from a lot of champs. Buff removal is nice. I think a lot of the value lies in the A2 as well.
Yeah.
Continuous heal, increased speed, heals all allies. But it's nowhere near the caliber of a Senna, and they're both voids, right?
Yeah.
I think it's an average champion, which is interesting. I think I would like to see more increased HP champions in the game, honestly, but
Yeah. Yeah. For
it's
me,
pretty decent, not trash.
yeah, he's weird. Like you've got within his kit, as you mentioned, he is a speed champion, right? But then he wants to be with like HP nukers and longer fights, which really doesn't fit with the
Yeah.
go for a speed champ. It's quite weird. So that's like a weird counter synergy. I definitely think as a speed champ, I mean, I really feel he should have 24% speed in all battles aura, at least. He only has
Mhm.
110 base speed. I think, Lysandra being so much better is a bit crazy. 24% at least, I think.
20% is low as heck. I didn't even
20%
notice
is low.
that.
Considering he's a speed boost champ as well, that would make him a lot more viable in Siege and elsewhere. Increased accuracy.
Because increased accuracy is nice. Like,
It's
for specific,
decent.
I don't know. Do you know who Togron could be really good with potentially? Commodus.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh, yeah, he would
increasing
be.
the HP, increased accuracy, stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think he could be a really cool pairing, but
Yeah.
wrong factions, right, for Siege.
Yeah, what could be fun? They could add in like an attack thing in here as well, like boost up some attack too, make him a bit more appealing with bomb jumps. That might be nice, something small. And I definitely feel like he's got high HP, so he's gonna do a big heal. So you're not gonna get that continuous heal most of the time. That feels quite weird. I feel like it should probably just do the continuous heal or do something else. I don't know. Bit odd
Yeah,
that. Maybe a turn meter boost
yeah.
instead. Just have him 2 different turn meter boost skills would be kind of fun.
Could be like a Senna variation, right? Like just
Yeah.
basing off the continuous heals and boosting Gemia. Very similar, but
Yeah, it could
yeah.
do something for sure. Yeah. I think he needs a little bit of love, but as you said, he's not awful. But yeah, definitely like up the aura, guys. Come on, he's Void Legendary speed booster with a 20% aura. No,
You have to give the second face 4%. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for the other, I agree. Okay, and then the final badly rated Void Legendary is Krutraxa. This surprised me. He has 1 yellow rating in there, but everywhere else is red. I thought this was worth mentioning. There's a few other honorable mentions like Fatalis, Blade Master, and stuff. I think Krutraxa is worth touching on because I wouldn't have thought she's absolutely terrible. She's got okay for Fire Knight, but she's really bad everywhere else. She's basically big single target damage, 4 hits, 50% defense ignore.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess her base stats kind of bad by modern standards, quite slow, etc. I don't know. How do you feel about Krutraxa?
This was a fun fact. 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when I first started playing this game, back in 2019, this was my first ever legendary champion, Krutraxa.
Wow.
It was actually I got do you know when you get like the monthly when you do the 30 days? I
Yeah.
got Krutraxa and then Grohawk the Bloodied back to back. They were my first
Oh.
ever two.
Mm.
But yeah, I think Krutraxa, she does what she does, right? This is the thing. It's like she smacks one person and then she smacks another person. She's a very simple one to reach true damage with her A1.
Mm-hmm.
Nice damage multipliers around the boards. Is she out of date? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a classic though. I don't know, man. Like, what would you do to her?
I
Like,
think there's definitely a few things you could update with her.
uh,
I think like she does weaken and she removes 2 buffs. I think you could probably change this to again make them irresistible, perhaps, because you're not going to build accuracy on her. You could even get rid of the weaken and make the buff removal irresistible, and it would be something.
or would you give her like an unresistible decreased defense and weaken?
You could do that as well. You could give her decreased defense and weaken, maybe. Yeah, that could
Yeah.
work.
But the problem is, like, my issue with Krutraxa, I know I said I had no issues, but the whole point of the A2 is to actually kill somebody, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, you don't really need the debuffs in anything outside of bosses. And then when you narrow it down to bosses,
Mm,
who's she outperforming outside of areas like, I don't know, Fire Knight,
yeah.
maybe some Hydra, single target DPS.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, because she's very squishy. This is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Very squishy. So you have to keep her alive as well.
Yeah.
Remove.
I would personally say remove 2 buffs from the target, cannot be resisted, and happens before the attack, and job done. Right. Remove a couple of buffs, smack them, hopefully kill, get an extra turn.
I've got an idea.
Winning.
I got an idea for Krutraxa. It just sprung to mind.
Oh.
Krutraxa starts the round with a stone skin buff.
Ooh, that could work. Yeah, that would be cool. I like that.
That would be cool. Then
I
you can
like
start
that.
ramping the heck out of her damage.
Yeah.
She's going to nuke one person, grant an extra 10, nuke another person. She's now going to have revive on death. If you kill her, she comes back.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Or potentially even like if she revives from a revive on death,
Mhm.
has like a Sun Wukong effect, right? Where she can like take a turn like super quick.
That could be
It'd be
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revive on Death is so bizarre as well. Like I feel that's a real
Yeah.
out of date buff
Yeah, that's
too.
the kind of thing I would change. I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of that, but
Yeah, you could give her like a shield or something based off the damage
yeah.
that she deals. Something fun like that. Be kind of cool, bit Protoss vibe. High tech alien generating a shield off her laser beams. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. Well, there we go. I think that's probably enough for one video. We're not going to do all the non-void, 10 non-voids as well. So let's stop it there, and we will regroup on YST's channel and chat about. Maybe, do you want to do non-voids over there, and we could do the mythicals and Doom Tower another time? Does that make sense?
We'll see how it goes. If
See
you
how-
see like 3-4 videos in a row, guys, it is what it is.
We might just record them all. Yeah, we'll see. Guys, thank you for watching. Check out YST's channels, link down below, and check out the collab over there. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.